Hi, readers.
Hi.
So glad you're here for our read aloud today. We are going to read one of our funny books. That is the second in a series from the first you read last week that was called Tacky. Cody, by looking at the cover of this book that you can see right here, what genre do you think this book might be?
I think this nonsense because the penguins might talk.
Yeah, nonsense or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction, but nonsense makes sense too. Because penguins don't talk in real life, do they, readers? Well, let's read to see if Cody is correct. Usually, in fiction text, when animals talk, it's made up and pretend. So let's read to find out today. All right, here is today's target. I can make connections and describe similarities and differences between texts that have the same author, illustrator, setting, characters, or theme. So we're going to compare and contrast the similarities and differences you see between texts. Cody, can you do that with me? Compare, contrast, similarities, differences. Similarities, similarities, differences. Do it with us, readers. Similarities, compare, contrast, differences. Oh, gotcha. So we're going to look at the similarities and differences between two familiar texts. You've already read Tacky the Penguin, and we are now going to read 3 Cheers for Tacky. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I don't have the book here with me at home, so thank goodness I found a great reader who was willing to help us out.
3 Cheers for Tacky by Helen Lester, illustrated by Lynn Munzinger. There once lived a group of penguins in a nice icy land. One was goodly, one was lovely, one was angel, one was neatly, one was perfect, and one was Tacky. Tacky was the odd bird. When they grew old enough, goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, perfect, and Tacky went to school. They read books. They wrote their names. They learned their numbers. One day at school, the penguins noticed a sign with an exciting announcement. Their class had been invited to take part in a great penguin cheering contest. Penguin classes from all over the iceberg would be there, and the team with the finest cheer would win shiny blue bow ties. Imagine what they could do with shiny blue bow ties. Right after school, goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, and perfect hurried away to practice their cheer. Softly and properly they began. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, right. Stand up, sit down, say goodnight. They did it beautifully, even the first time through. Then up waddled Tacky, a little late and a little loud. "What's happening?" he blared. "We're practicing our cheer. That's what's happening," they replied. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, right. Stand up, sit down, say goodnight. Tacky gave it a try. 1, 2, 3, left. A, B, C, right. Flop down, roll over. Say, what's for supper? Tacky, they said patiently, we are a team, and if you are on the team, you must be exactly like the rest of us. He wanted very much to be on the team, so Tacky tried to cooperate and move with a stiff upper beak like the rest of them. But how could he see where he was going with a stiff upper beak in the way? The directions were not always easy. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, left. Where is everybody? He wondered. Tacky had trouble coming up with the proper costume. And his pom-poms were never quite right. Would this team ever have a chance to win shiny blue bow ties? The penguins practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced until finally, the day before the contest, 1, 2, 3, left. 1, 2, 3, right. Stand up, sit down, say goodnight. Tacky got it right. The next morning, teams from all over the iceberg gathered for the great penguin cheering contest. Each team waited nervously to perform, but no team was more nervous than Tacky's. Could he do it right just one more time? The first team marched on stage. Pip, 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 rah! The judges looked bored. Another team marched forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, sis, boom, ba, and backed off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the judges yawned. A third team chanted, wave the pom-pom, hold it high. Bow politely, say goodbye. And the judges snored. Finally, there was only one team left, Tacky's. With quivering beaks, they faced the sleeping audience and the snoring judges. This was it. Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, perfect, and Tacky began. 1, 2, 3. Oh, for crying out loud! The audience gasped, startled by Tacky's loud voice. The odd bird had tripped over the tail of his own Hawaiian shirt and crashed belly down. His horrified teammates carried on. 1, 2, 3, right. Poor Tacky, now a bit muddled, pulled his sweater over his head. The sight of a headless penguin got the whole crowd laughing. Stand up, sit down, say goodnight. By now, the crowd was on its feet begging for more. Bravo! That was great! Another cheer! Tacky poked his head out. Another cheer? Well, if they insisted, he gave them a second cheer. 1, 2, 3, left, A, B, C, right, flop down, roll over. Hey, what's for supper? The crowd roared, the judges slapped each other on the back, and even the other penguin teams clapped wildly. So Tacky led everyone in a third cheer. 1, 2, 3, yay, Rudy, toot, toot, hooray, high flippers, we're okay. Penguins everywhere gave high flippers. There was no question who wore the shiny blue bow ties home. Tacky was an odd bird, but a nice bird to have around.
All right, readers. Did you enjoy that? Tacky sure is a funny guy. So who are the main characters or the main character in both of these books that we've read? That's right, Tacky is the main character. Do you agree, Cody?
Yeah.
And then some of his friends, his penguin friends, are some of the other characters. In the first Tacky, there were also some hunters. So when we look at texts or books that may have the same author, just like Tacky, both Tacky and 3 Cheers for Tacky are written by Helen Lester, there are definitely some similarities and differences that we can look at. So these over here are some interesting words that if you hear them, they may not be the word similarity, but they mean the same thing. So words like alike, both, same, similar, in common, in comparison. And if you hear some of these words, that's a light bulb in your head to tell you, oh, those are some differences. Like unalike, not alike, on the other hand, however, although, even though, in contrast. So you might hear words that are similar or different to these words when you are looking at similarities and differences between texts. So I want you to think about what are some similarities and differences you noticed between these two texts. They were both written by Helen Lester. They both had the same main character. Who was the main character in both? What was that penguin's name?
Tacky.
Tacky the penguin. So I noticed right away, readers, that Tacky and 3 Cheers for Tacky were both similar because they both had Tacky as the main character. I noticed a difference, however, that in the first Tacky, the penguins were not inclusive of Tacky until the very end. In this second Tacky, 3 Cheers for Tacky, they were more inclusive right away, and they tried to include Tacky in on the cheers they were doing right away. Did you notice that, Cody?
Yeah.
So that was definitely a difference. Although the character was the same, the main character was the same, A significant difference is Tacky was included sooner in 3 Cheers for Tacky. And I think that was because of the lesson that the penguins learned in the first book, which brings me to my next comparison. I noticed the lesson in the first text, I think, is to always be yourself, because when Tacky was his true self, it saved the day and it scared off the hunters. In the second Tacky, 3 Cheers for Tacky, I think the lesson was you being different might be exactly what someone else needs. So you just being you might be what the friends or people around you need one day. So don't change who you are. Again, same Tacky, same character, but 2 different lessons from the story. Now, I also noticed a similarity in how Tacky dressed. Did you notice that, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he dressed silly and in his Hawaiian shirt like no other penguin in both texts. And because I noticed that similarity right away, I was predicting he was going to do something silly in 3 Cheers for Tacky, just like he did in the second one. So you'll see some sentence stems over here, readers. These are great ways to talk about similarities and differences that you notice in a text. You might be reading 2 texts by the same author with the same characters, like Tacky, or some books that you're going to read later on this week, like Bill and Pete. You might be reading 2 books that are written by the same author but have different characters. Or maybe you find 2 fiction rabbit books that have 2 main characters that are rabbits, but they're written by different authors. There's a lot you can compare. And when you look at texts by the same author, you can really notice some interesting and unique similarities and differences that help you to understand why things happen. We knew there was going to be something silly Tacky was going to do because we already understood that about his character from the first text. So noticing those similarities and differences can be really strong. Okay, we're going to come back and check in. Now that we've read 3 Cheers for Tacky, do you still think it's fiction and made up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never heard a penguin talk. Have you? What do you think, readers? Do you still think it's fiction? Exactly, because we know that penguins don't talk in real life. Make sure you always support your thinking with why you think what you think. All right, readers, did you make connections and describe similarities and differences between texts that have the same author, illustrator, settings, character, or theme? Did you do that today, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, readers? You did. We practiced that together. So now this is a great thing to practice next time you read 2 texts by the same author. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye.
Bye.